So I'm going to share with you my top 8 tips for fixing traffic in your cities, or, if you're clever enough, for stopping the traffic from occurring even in the first place. And we're going to use this city of Croydon, sent in by EVADeadly, to see how to do that. And just before we dive into fixing this up, let's have a word from our sponsors at NordVPN and see what Hugo is up to now. Hugo is heading to the open sea because he's decided to take up fishing. That's fishing with an F, because there is another type of fishing that you want to watch out for. And NordVPN can protect you from many nefarious things on the internet with their new threat protection system, including phishing, malicious websites, malware, trackers, and intrusive ads. You have a choice of 3 different plans: the standard plan, which is NordVPN only, the Plus plan, which is NordVPN and NordPass, and the Complete plan, which is NordVPN, NordPass, and NordLocker. So go to my link at nordvpn.com/Biffa and get a 2-year plan plus 1 month free with a huge discount. There's also a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. To secure your internet too, check out my link at nordvpn.com/Biffa. If you would like me to take a look at your city for potential city fixing, then please check out the link in the description below and fill out the form. So let's just zoom out a little bit on this city and see how bad it looks. Here we go. Nice overview. Press the button. Lots of red roads there. Okay, the outside maybe not so bad, inside looking pretty rubbish. Let's just see what sort of percentage that is. 71%. Okay, there we go. You did mention in your little note to me that with despawning turned on, so that is with the vanilla sort of traffic mode, the way that works in the game, which is if cars back up just too far, the game just removes some cars. I call that personally easy mode. There we go. So if we dive into Traffic Manager, we can see that is enabled there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that. I'm going to turn it off. So what do you think the traffic is going to get to if we just let this city run for a few moments? Put a comment in the description below, and then we'll dive in to our 8 tips. Okay, been running for a few minutes. I've stopped because we're starting to lose a lot of population. We started off with about 34,000. We're down to 27,000. What do you think that is? I'm reckoning 25%. Let's have a look. Come out of that view. 27%. Okay, yeah, not too bad a guess there. Okay, so we can see where the bad spots are. It is getting pretty hectic around a lot of these roundabouts, and you do have a lot of roundabouts. Well, let's just go through my 8 steps then, one at a time, and see how well that helps this city. So step 1 that you want to keep an eye on is outside traffic flow. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's just pause that and zoom out. So here we have our map, and you can see that there are outside connections that come into this map. So cars will come in, and this counts for trains as well. There's train lines, and some of them just want to get from one side of the map to the other. So let's just say they were traveling down this road and wanted to leave on the other side of the map. What are they going to do? Well, the first thing they're going to do is go through this roundabout. And then they're going to go along this road. Then they're going to go through this roundabout. Then they're going to go back on the highway again. Then they're going to head out the city. Yeah, not down there, down this way. Now, you've been lucky. There's not many wanting to do that. But as you start to expand your city, perhaps over to here, you might then build off of this roundabout that's interrupting the highway and start adding roads and building over there. And then you'll wonder why there's so much traffic on here. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on. So maybe let's just change this up a bit, these 2 roundabouts, and do something a little bit different. Now, you've gone from the motorway roads down to this 6-lane road. Well, that's fine. That's okay, because that is the same amount of lanes. But I think this roundabout here is not needed. This roundabout is definitely not needed. So we are going to remove some of these things here and do a little bit of a change. And then we're going to just use a straight normal junction in here. We're going to use this one, the Cloverleaf intersection. It's one you've used quite a few times in your city. There we go. So I've hooked that up going through there. We can then hook this up going down here. Again, you've got a 6-lane road, which is okay. We'll go with that for now. So what I'm going to do is bring that into there, and I'm just going to delete that one, and then we can hook these up, and because I'm using mods, I think I can union those nodes together. So we're going to take that one and that one and that one and that one. Yeah, that's not too bad. Then we'll take node controller and we'll say, please sort that node out. There we go. Excellent. And then if you do that, if you have these lanes go into there, you want to make sure that no one's going to be doing some hawky-balky lane switching there. So we're just going to jump again into Traffic Manager, just use the lane connector. There we go. So we know that they're going to go straight on in each direction. That's fine. I also need to do that down there. So I'm pressing Control S. You go there, that's good. This side's okay. This side is now open for future expansion, but until you expand over here, what I would do is just make sure that if anybody wants to come up here, they can get from one side to the other. So we'll just do that. So if they want to swing around there, that's fine. Okay, so they're going to come through there. They're then going to come down to here. And again, we're going to sort of change this up and switch things around. And there we go, a slight change there. So basically, this highway, not totally uninterrupted, but transitioning to this 6-lane road here will work fine. And then that just allows us to have this junction coming off here, and then people can carry on. What you don't want here is this to be a traffic light. So we're going to make that a give way or yield sign. It's give way sign in this case. And we're also going to add dedicated turning lanes, which we'll come back to in a moment. So that should help the traffic flow from the outside of your city move through and past your city unimpeded. Just a little notification as well. With a road like this that's going to be super busy, I would not have any buildings or access or anything onto here. I can see you've slightly changed this to add some crossings. I would maybe... I mean, it's a clever way of doing it. I would say no, because we're not going to have any of these on here. That's going to keep the traffic flowing. Right, so that was tip number 1. Let's have a look at tip number 2. So tip number 2 is good practice with roundabouts. So how to set them up, where to use them, where not to use them as well. Now, as you've noticed, you have a lot of roundabouts in this city here all over the place. And there's quite a few spots where I wouldn't use a roundabout. So let's just take this one over here. So it's quite likely you're not going to be expanding into this spot here because it's a great big mountain. So this is always going to stay as these 3 lanes through here, these 3 roads through here. So let's just remove that one. And what we can do is we can instead get these roads joined up here. There we go. And we'll pop that into there instead. So that now gives us... it's still a 3-way junction. We should have plenty of room for people moving in and out of this area. Normally when I add a junction like that, I mean, it's got a traffic light on there. I would instantly put that as a give way or yield. And then I would also use this one here and hold control and left click. And look at what it's going to do to these lanes here. There we go. So we've now got a dedicated turning lane going in from every direction. That's from going out, and that will work much better, and that will stop cars getting caught behind each other and just using a roundabout that doesn't need to be there. We've got quite a few roundabouts that I would say maybe don't need to be there, but here, this is another thing with roundabouts: do not build on roundabouts unless it is a purely decorative roundabout that you know is going to have hardly any traffic. Maybe you'll do it then, maybe. But other than that, I would say do not build on roundabouts, or even just sort of before the roundabout where the road connects, like this one and this one. So now you don't have anybody stopping off to get in and out of their cars on the roundabout to go into their property, which is a much better way of doing it. Also, what I tend to do is I want one more lane on a roundabout than there are lanes coming into a roundabout. So let's just take this here, for example. We've got 2 lanes coming in. I'd like that roundabout to have 3 lanes. Now, if you're playing in vanilla, unfortunately, that is less likely going to be the highway road. This one here. If you're using something like the UK Road Revival, I really love these roads. You've got all sorts of choices. You've also got some actual roundabout roads as well. Here we go. So we can sort of pick one of these. That's got it all. Yep, there we go. So people could still walk across there if they needed to. Also, if you're doing things with roundabouts like what I'm about to do, I don't want this roundabout to change its shape. So I'm going to pause the game. I'm going to just brace this roundabout. So take any of the nodes like that, brace them up. I want to add this road going onto here. Let's use the picker mod and click on there. And I'm just going to curve that around into there like that. If I didn't brace the roundabout, that roundabout would have gone boink and would have changed its shape. Now, if you go into Traffic Manager and select the priority signs, if you do, as you can see down here, this little helpful thing pops up. If you click that little question mark, I do Control Shift left click. And one, it tells you that you've made your roundabout correctly because it highlights it all in blue. And if you left click there, it now sets up some priority signs on the roundabout. So if we just zoom in, every road coming in has got give way on it. There we go. And these nice UK roads add this nice little UK style thing on there. So there we go, give way, give way. That'll be the same. Also, it does this priority. So no crossing is allowed on the roundabout, which makes total sense. People are still allowed to cross over at the start of the roundabout. You can turn that on and off if you wish there. Also, this little symbol here is priority. So you want people on the roundabout to have priority through this node here, where this road joins the roundabout. So as you can see, this is priority. The roundabout's going this way, of course. This is priority as they come down there. They're either going to turn off or keep on going. Ones coming in are going to stop. And there's also a give way sign, so they're going to heed to that. So that sets that up on every junction, which is exactly how you want it. And just setting up that roundabout like that isn't going to solve all the traffic, because we can see that some of these cars are now trying to get through to other roundabouts. But yeah, it's going to help a certain amount. Now, using this particular road, people can still walk around the roundabout. If you've used the highway road, people cannot walk around it, which is a bit of an issue, because now anybody that's walking can't walk from this side to the other. So because of the amount of space that we haven't got in here, I'm not going to start adding any walkways and things around here. I'm just going to use that there, and then we're going to set that up. This one here, Control Shift left click, get that roundabout working as it should. And you could even add another access off of here. Once things get going, that won't be a problem at all. Yeah, and that should be okay for there. Let's have a quick look around at some other roundabouts you've got and just make sure they're all set up okay. What I would also do, where the people are coming in, I'm going to just pause the game while I do this. I'm going to remove that node there, and then I'm going to use the Move It mod just to swing that round. And you can do the same here. So now it's a lot easier motion coming in and out. Again, with all of these cars coming down here, and you've got this road here, I would change the roundabout to look like this. Don't forget to brace your roundabout before you do any changes. There we go, excellent. That just makes it a little bit easier for people to swing in and out of there. Let's remove that, and then because we've just changed the road attachment here, we're going to do Control Shift left click again. There we go. And just double check there's none of these lines in the wrong place. No, that's working good. So when they come off here, let's just speed it up. A little bit easier to slide off, and if there wasn't a load of traffic down there, there we go. It means they're not getting in each other's way. This isn't so busy, so we'll leave that. So there's no room to sort themselves out between here and here. And also, this is just a three-way junction. So I would not have this roundabout. And then maybe do something like that instead. So people can still carry on this main road and they don't get in each other's way up there. We'll do dedicated turning lanes there for this one. And then this roundabout, I'm just looking at what you've got set up here. I can see what you've done. You've got this road going up here. We're going to take that and we're going to add that there instead. And hopefully we don't mess up the roundabout. Oh, I got away with it. And then what we can do is we can upgrade this one up to here. And then this road through here, I think, can be your main road instead, because that attaches all the way along there, and you don't have another main road up the top here. I'll leave that one as buildings are already up against it. And then what we can do is maybe grab that and change that one. Then we can rezone in some stuff here so we can get some more items growing. Take this away because it's right next to the roundabout. Take these away because it's on the main road. I'm going to take these away. It's on the main road. And then you're getting up into the housing and stuff anyway. And that guy there, he thought he was going to get away with it. Nope, you're not getting away with it. There we go. And then you just up the roundabout. So I'm going to go through and work on these. You've also, of course, not got any walkability coming through here at all because of that. So rather than change that out and add walkability, which is going to get in the way of the cars, I'm just going to do this, which hopefully works okay. Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't take up any extra space, and people can now start walking through. Right, I'm going to sort out the roundabouts, and then I'll be back with you for my next tip. Oh, autosave. Quick sip of tea. And if you're a fan of lane mathematics and sipping tea, then head on over to biffaplaysmerch.com. Okay, so some roundabouts were removed. No roundabouts were added. Some have had pedestrian access added to them, and they've all had the giveaway signs and all that sort of thing put into them. So what is our next tip? Well, tip number 3 is road hierarchy. What do we mean by that? Well, you start with the largest road type that we've got, of course, which is the highway road. And then coming off the highway, you go into a collector. You've got these 6-lane roads here, or quite often these 4-lane roads are big enough. And then you go into your local roads, and that is basically it. In each of these categories, you've got a lot of choice, of course. We're using, like we said, the UK Road Revival roads by McWelshman. So for the smaller local roads, we've got particular ones for roundabouts. We've got one-way versions, roads with parking, no parking, verges, trees, bike lanes, all that sort of thing. Our collectors here, of course, we have the different sizes, again, with or without trees, bike lanes, all the rest of that lovely stuff. And then the highways, you can use the highways. You can see that sometimes you can use your 6-lane roads instead. They will do a similar thing. But what you don't want to do is be using these roads for highways, because you can see why that's not going to work, the amount of traffic. Also, you don't want to be using these roads as local roads and getting things mixed up. So that is the basics of road hierarchy. Can we spot anywhere in our city where that hasn't been adhered to? Okay, let's just look at this example here. We've got this roundabout connecting to this roundabout connecting to that roundabout, this roundabout connecting to this road that goes through here. You've used 6-lane roads everywhere apart from down here, and it just really is not needed at all. So what I would do is I would use these 4-lane roads are perfect for connection between roundabouts, because what that changes as well, we've got 3 lanes on the roundabout, and if we have that, there's now 2 lanes coming in and out, which is the ideal amount for something like this. So I would perhaps change all of these. Okay, there we go. So things will work much better. Now, even though there isn't really traffic in this area, other places where you've ignored road hierarchy will start causing problems. So I'm going to go through the city, and I'm going to change out any unnecessary 6-lane roads. When you've got trees on this one, so I'll do it with the tree road as well. Now, you might at some point come along and say, well, actually, I do need it here because there's extra traffic coming through this area and we want to switch that up. Is that our connection to the outside? Oh, that's a connection to another area over here. 6-lane roads, totally not needed. But yeah, you might look at your traffic and decide that at a junction, you need an extra lane and go in a certain way. Well, by all means, for instance, like here, have a 6-lane road. It will be a bit of a problem where these 3 lanes go down into 2. If you have packs installed that have got asymmetric roads, you can maybe mess around with that a little bit. But overall, there we go. On a 3-way junction like that, we can then go in, make sure we've got give way and dedicated lanes, and everybody gets a way that they can turn without getting in anybody else's way. And again, going on and off roundabouts like this. So we've got a 1-lane. Did we do that as 2-lane roads, or was that already done? I think this is the one I did before. Yes, we've made that 3 lanes going up through there because we had a 6-lane road here. So if we instead made this all the way down here, 4-lane like this. There we go. We can now change these 2 over here to 2-lane roads going in and out. And again here we've got all of these 6-lane roads coming in, coming out, going all over the place. These are really just not needed. It's just too much. Too much! So what is going on here? I'm assuming this is like a little bypass. So people don't have to go up there and down here. I mean, that's fine, but traffic isn't bad going up and down there. So in this case, I would just delete that and let them carry on. So that makes this junction a little bit easier to deal with, which is actually quite busy. There's a lot of people coming down here. So in this case, do you know what? I'm going to add a roundabout in there. I think there's a node too close there. I'm going to just get rid of that node there. Yeah, there we go. And then we can again upgrade this to our roundabout roads. And what I might also suggest here is these two are quite close to each other. Yeah, I'm going to just do a little bit of changing this here. There we go. So now it comes out a little bit further away. Let's just get rid of those. I mean, this is, again, a 3-way junction, but I'm assuming that you've got all of this land over here that you might end up building into at one time. So off of that node, so the roundabout isn't going to deform because there is a node there. I will add that road in. So now when I do this, there we go. It will set it all up correctly. And that should, once all the cars have worked out what's going on, move a lot better. Yeah, so I'm going to go through the city. I'm going to check out any places where I think you've got road hierarchy problems, and we are going to do something about them. Again, you've done bypasses. I know why you've done this. Your roundabout probably couldn't cope with what was going on, but if you set it all up properly, it will work okay. Again, this is only a 3-way junction, but I think we're going to leave the roundabout on here because it looks like it's going to be super busy. We are just going to round this thing out a bit. Do you know, I actually took that roundabout out there. We don't need it. And I'm also going to, let's get this back to normal height, change this road going down here because we don't need it to be 6-lane all the way through there. Now it's 4-lane everywhere. There we go. And then this little bit at the end, I mean, it might be, if we do dedicated turning lanes and give way, what you might find is once the traffic goes down, these people will get time to come out. But that might take a bit of time because at the minute there's like traffic everywhere that's causing all sorts of problems. But that could just keep, I mean, this is going down over here. Look, no problem at all. So that could be okay. We're going to leave that one like it is. Look, people using this turnaround, extra options to get places. That's good. I think overall, that's most of the road hierarchy. There's still a few little spots, which I will sort out. Okay, so how are things going? Well, the city's dying completely because the traffic's so bad, but the traffic's getting there. It's at 40% now, so ever so slightly getting better. That is good. So what is my next tip? Tip number 4. If you're using Traffic Manager, these are some good settings that you need to look at. Let's go into the mod. So we go into our options, scroll down till you get to Traffic Manager. And we start with the general tab. So here you can change your road signs. I've just happened to have them on United Kingdom setting. Here you want to change your simulation accuracy. I would put that into medium, see how it goes. This is going to depend on how powerful your machine is, whether this slows your game down or not, but I usually find medium is okay. This is the page that you really want to dive into. At the minute, you don't have advanced AI turned on. So we want to do that. We want the cars to be as clever as possible. In vanilla, a little bit not that clever. But when you've got despawning turned off, you need these extra things to make it work. So we're going to do that. We're also going to have dynamic lane selection. I tend to go about 20%. There we go. And that will work. This is something to play around with once your traffic's sorted. Parking AI. If I tick that, people will not use pocket cars. You know, where they pull up to a road, get to their destination, pick up their car, it disappears into their pocket and off they go. They will literally need somewhere to park. And if you don't have that, it causes problems. So don't just turn that on without planning ahead with lots of parking. You can have fun with the game. You can make it even harder. You can turn some of these things on. They don't make a huge difference, I've got to say. I've not really seen individual driving styles. Doesn't really make a big difference you know, your mileage may vary. A few policies and things you want to adjust. I tend to sort of not really mess around with those a lot. You can have dedicated turning lanes automatically happen at junctions. I tend to leave it off and like to do them myself, and sometimes I will change those. Reset stuck sims and vehicles, if I can say that. Worth just doing just in case you have any problems with that. So I'll click that one, and then there's some shortcut keys because I've got some of mine set up a little bit differently. So that will definitely, and this one here will definitely start to make a difference to the game. So tip number 5 is actually dedicated lanes. So for instance, we'll take this road that's going through here. I've left it as a 6-lane road. So we can see how this works. So the way the game does it in vanilla, it sees that there's 2 lanes that cars can turn into. So it will give you one dedicated turning lane, which is good. It will then say, there's actually another turning lane. So we'll do this one here with an arrow to go up there. But it's also looking ahead and saying, actually, yeah, there's 3 lanes that cars can go to here. We're going to send 2 of those over to here. So the game just gets a little bit confused. Now, in vanilla, without the traffic manager and the extra AI, this isn't too bad. And sometimes you may do this if your traffic is particularly bad or it warrants it because there's a lot of people turning. But in vanilla, yeah, this can cause a problem. You'll get a lot of people, say, using this lane and just getting in each other's way. So that's where dedicated turning lanes comes in. So a quick Control Shift left click. And there we go. We've got 1 lane for people turning and 2 for going straight on. And that might just work better. As well as control left clicking in the node, you can actually go to the road. You can see it's highlighting this portion here. This is the end of the road. Left click on there. And now you can individually adjust your lanes. And that's what I prefer to do. There we go. I said maybe you can use that lane at all. I prefer to do this because sometimes I will say, let's say loads of people were turning left, but not many going straight on. I might say I'll have 2 lanes go left because we've got 2 lanes they can turn into. And I might deliberately make that decision. So I prefer to have that in my own hands. That is how I do it. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this road going through here. This is a road hierarchy one that I didn't see. I'm going to grab this one. There we go, that's fine. So you've got the bonus of having 2 lanes going in and a 3rd lane extra on the roundabout. So that adds up and works out well. When you get down here, we're going to have to just set this up again. So we've got 1 lane going left, 1 lane going straight on. Or we can just do control left click all the way down there. When you get to a crossroads like this, you may then decide to do some changes. Now, with the Mass Transit DLC, you got this one here, and this is an asymmetrical road. So we've got 1 lane going in and out of this junction with 1, 2, 3 places to go. So we're going to change that end segment, and now we get an extra lane. And I'm going to do that over here as well. Now, if this was just a 3-way junction, that would be perfect, wouldn't it? It's actually a 4-way junction, so it's a little bit busier. One of these lanes we can't see because of the car, so let's just use that. There we go. That lane's going to do 2 things, and in fact, yeah, because of the way this is shaped, it's made it look like it's going right instead of straight on. But I'm pretty sure if we just sort of bend this up here a bit, yeah, there we go. So this lane's doing 2 things, this lane's doing 1 thing, and I tend to keep the lane that's crossing the traffic, which is this one, have its own use, and then the other 2 can do that. Again, you can sort of change that around as you wish. But anyway, we can already see the cars are getting in and out of this junction a lot quicker, although unfortunately they're going up here. I'll tell you what it is, it's because we confuse them with moving that, they're turning right. But anyway, that is going to help in a lot of places. And you've got roads, let's just grab, I use the picker mod for that. So roads that are coming out like this, I would just instantly give them, face it the right way, this asymmetrical roads. Now they've got dedicated left and right turns, and you will find in lots of instances, there we go, that is just going to help people get out twice as faster. Oh, I've just done that one. Twice as faster onto main roads. Here's another example. Yeah, lots of examples down here. So we've got these little singular small roads coming in. Of course, if you're using other roads like this one, you've got a 4-lane road, which would actually make more sense here. So now we've got 2 lanes coming down here, which will be dedicated. It's sort of hard to see. There we go. But we've got extra lanes this end for this sort of busy junction that you've got going on. So you've got choices. Okay, I seem to have a lot of work to do with this, so I'm going to go through, is that the wrong way round? There we go, and add this in any places where I think it's going to help. I mean, look at that. For little sort of three-way junctions like this, it's great because instantly, even in vanilla, I've not had to do the dedicated lane thing with Traffic Manager. Everybody gets a lane to go where they want, and then we can have a different one at this end for going into the main road. Yeah, lots to do, lots to do. Let me nip through and do all of that. Right, the next tip is going to involve lane mathematics. This is something I know a lot of you like using, and I hear more and more people talk about it, which is just great. I'm just actually going to sort out this road here first of all. Actually, before we do that, this is why lane mathematics will work. So we've got this 4-lane road here, which is all we need going down there. But as we come into this junction, there's like too many roads going on for this. So what we're going to do is, if you imagine that this is a highway coming down here, so we'll grab our normal highway roads going in and going out of this area. So you've got 3 lanes coming down here with 1 lane going off, and you can do this in vanilla. So we'll take this 2-lane highway, which is in the Mass Transit DLC, and I do count having the DLCs as a vanilla. And look, we've got 2 lanes being used here. So if you haven't got Traffic Manager and you want to do a bit of lane mathematics, dedicated lanes, they go hand in hand. We're going to downgrade this to this 2-lane highway, and instantly you get 1 lane for going off and then 2 lanes for straight on. You could leave it at that, but I'm just going to go all the way down this road here because we only need the 2 lanes. Let's get underneath there. And then when these meet back up again, let's just imagine this roundabout isn't here and it's just highway going straight down. We'll add that in there, and now we've got 1, 2, 3 lanes meeting back into 3 lanes again. It just keeps things nice and simple, and the game loves it. So we're going to do that going through here. Now, particularly with this junction, we need to sort of bend the rules just a little bit. So we've got 3 lanes, 1 going off down to 2. And then this one here, this 1 lane splits off into 2. So you can see we haven't really got the lane mathematics working. Well, you can bend the rules just a little bit. So we want a 2-lane road going up here to split off into these 2. And again, we can use this same 2-lane highway. We're going to assume that that's 1 piece of road. We're going to upgrade that. And now it's sort of hawky-balkified this here. So this is where we're getting into using the mods again. So if we grab Traffic Manager, do Control left click, we'll get 1 lane going off, but it will split into these 2. So in real life, you might have a sign down here saying 2 lanes, and then you can pick a lane down here. Or what you can do as well, again, you can use a 4-lane highway. Here we go, again for mass transit. And if we pop that in, the lane mathematics works again. 2 lanes straight on into 2 lanes, 2 lanes going off into 2 lanes. And that's perfectly legit. And then when we get through here, then we've got automatic dedicated lanes. We've put that into 2 lanes. 1's going straight on, 1's going off. When it comes back onto the highway, this is where it becomes a slight issue. So we'll do the lane mathematics. We've got 2 lanes. They're going to go into 2 lanes. We get 1 each. Now we've got 2 plus 2 equals 4. And then we could maybe even give that a couple of segments of 4 before we then downgrade the next section back into a 3 again. I meant to do this one here. And that is okay. As long as you keep an eye on how the traffic is going, a setup like that could work okay. Particularly with the Traffic Manager AI that we've sort of put into the game. That would be all right. But yeah, that's basically how it works. So what I'm going to do is go through this junction, do all the lane mathematics and all the roads going through, all the connections, and we'll take a look at it afterwards. There we go. That is working reasonably well. So where it's come out, I've gone 4 lanes down to 3. Where it's gone in, I've just got 1 lane coming out and going into 2. Yeah, and that works okay. You can also do it on the Cloverleaf, although this is probably one of the worst junctions in the game, but as it's not so busy here, we'll do it on this one. What am I looking for? Highway, 2 lane. So again, you've got 3 lanes coming up. If we downgrade this, you'll get the automatic dedicated lanes going there. Then you got 1 plus 2, so it goes back to a 3. And then you've got the same over here. 1 goes off, 1 goes back on. So it really is just these little 8 pieces that you need to change, and that will help a lot in vanilla, although it won't be perfect. And then again, if you're using mods, I would do this, and everywhere where they merge, I would just do that and say, look, you have dedicated lanes. Right, number 7 on the list is walking access. Now that's something that we just briefly covered earlier, making sure that if you're using highway roads like this with no walking access, that you add walking paths over the top. So if you've got a mod to do it nicely for you like that, or that is something you can easily draw in yourself. But also walking access between areas. So if you sort of look at the way your city's set out, let's say they lived here and they want to get to a friend over here. To be honest, they're going to get in their car, drive all the way around there, go up there, come all the way down there. That's a highway. So now they're going up there. No, so they can't get actually onto this road easily. Where else would they go? Up there, down there, onto this road. We're stuck again. What does this connect to? They'd get in their car, go up here, round there, round this roundabout, round that roundabout, down here, all the way over to there. But you could literally add a walking path from this area to this junction or road or something, and people will literally start using that. I've just picked a random spot. Let's pop a walking path in from here. So we've got crossings, we've got people can get in and out of this area with no problem. There we go. That's not too bad. Let's see how long it is before somebody decides that they want to walk over to that random other area to visit a friend. There we go. It's been like 30 seconds and people are already coming down. Look, they're streaming down from that area up there. They're saying, yep, this is what we want to do instead. So think of all the places where you could add walking paths like this. Oh man, that was a really badly placed walking path. Let's just not worry about that. You get the point. Right, number 8 on the list is mass transit. And that is something you're really lacking in this city. You've got one bus line. I think you used to have 10. But what I'm guessing has happened is the traffic was so bad that you've just deleted it. This bus line goes everywhere. It goes up and down. It goes round and round. It really doesn't. It just, look at it. I mean, there's people using it. Most of the buses are empty. You've got 28. But you know what? As much as it pains me, this is just going to be deleted. We're going to remove that. Yeah, everyone's unhappy. Sorry. It wasn't working. Metro as well. You've got one metro line, which is good. You've got it going around your whole city. Now, to be honest, the city isn't that big, really. I'm not going to redraw this. I might have put maybe a loop here and a loop here. But you've only got your line going in one direction. So anybody that wants to get on, you know, they get on here and they want to get to there, they've got to go all the way around the city. So at the very least, I would add a loop going in the other direction. So let me just add that in. There we go. We've got loops going in both directions. So let's just have a look at how many vehicles we've got. So this has got 4 vehicles. What is the standard it's going to give you? 4. Okay. So look at this one here, the one you had in before. So loads of people are waiting. Look at that. So many people want to use your metro, and they will stop trying to use it after a time and leave and go and do something else. We want to make this attractive to people to use. I have the extra vehicles DLC, so I'm going to change all of these to subway trains, which when they appear will have space for 400. And also, we don't want to just take into consideration the capacity, it's the distance that this is going to travel as well. So 4 trains spread out over all of this. If there was one here, one here, one there, there's still a lot of waiting time. So I would perhaps upgrade that to, say, 6. There we go. Excellent. We'll keep that going, and very quickly I think we'll see the numbers in those rise. And then also what you want to do, let's take an area where you've got a lot of houses like here. So you've got your one subway in here, so these people will walk to that metro stop. I think you've got paths over the top here which will get to all these areas. That path doesn't go anywhere. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sneak that in there so people can walk across. But yeah, bus routes to take people from A to B. People will go from residential to work at industry, or they will go to commercial for shopping. But I think we'll just leave that going like that with all of... Oh man, the traffic is so much better. With all of that metro adjustment that we've got. Just that simple change, and we'll come back and see how many people are using all of this in a moment. Right, let's take a look at the metro usage. Now we've monkeyed with that a little bit. fantastic. Was it like 550 on one line? Now it's like 1100 or more on 2 lines. Let's make sure they're all being taken care of on the line. Space on the trains. Not too many people waiting. Look, this one's going to come past and pick them all up. That is fine. Let's have a look at line number 2. Yeah, that's going well as well. 61% car trip saved. Now, the way I understand that is when you're looking at a screen like this, all of these people that are using this line, 61% of them would have used their car. So that is absolutely fantastic. If you get that figure high, that's even better. You can add more metro in, more buses, all the rest of it. So let's get the final traffic figure. Let's just take an overview. Not too bad. Things are moving. A little bit busy up here. I could tweak it a bit more, but to be honest, I've spent so much time. What do you reckon it's going to be? Leave a comment now, just before we check. Now we're going to check. I reckon, let's have a guess, 81%. 83%. Oh, that is fantastic. That is absolutely brilliant. Let's have a quick look down here. It's just super busy. Look, it's moving. It's fine. Wow. So what do you think of my tips? Any tips that I've missed? Let me know in the comments below. If you'd like me to fix your city, as I said, check the description. Check out the video on the screen talking all about the new plazas and promenades DLC, and subscribe so you don't miss out on all the fantastic stuff coming your way. Have a great day. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.